Good morning, hope you're well. Next video we're going to work on the door for the camera, and here it is. And the first thing we've got to do is just lift it off the Formica, and you will hear it creak and crack and groan and moan. Or maybe you won't. Oh, there you go. There you go. One side's gone. Look what it wants to do. I mean, it really wants to bend. It really wants to bend the... there's a lot of glue down there. It's going. It's going. There we go. Let's have a look at the damage. That's all right. Thin wispy bit of glue that will come off with a chisel and a scraper, and then we'll get this thing flat. So let's do this. Right, well there we go. Margot's done her bit. This is pretty good now. It's just about 8.5 mil. I've just gone over it just to get rid of some of the little tiny steps around here. There were a couple. And I don't know whether you noticed, but I went with the grain with these, then I rotated it and went with the grain on this centre panel and these two sides. And actually, if you look at that now, let me see what you can see. If you look at that now, you'll struggle to find the joints, won't we? But that's good. That's all good. Right. Next, start cutting it down to the widest aperture of the plate holder. So that's next. So I've just spent a few minutes squaring this up. So that's sitting on the bottom down there, and it's sitting on there, and look at that, that's spot on. So that's off the shooting board, so that's great. But what I've got to do now is I've got to cut this to length. This is the bottom strip, which I need to get these in first, and then from these I can then cut the door down there. I can start marking the door. So what I've got to do is I've got to get into that corner, and I've got a bit of MDF and thought, well, I can mark it with that. So that's a great way of marking this end, but I actually need to start with a routed end. So I've just been setting my router up, and it's not the way I'd like to set it up. There's a risk to this. If I hold so what it is the piece of the tongue sticking out is underneath. If I accidentally lift this up, it'll cut a great big groove and it'll ruin the tongue. So there's an element of risk, but I think I'm okay. But I've got a piece here that's going to help me push it through square. So that piece of mahogany is square on the end, and I can hold it like, not with the camera in my hand, but I can hold it like that, grip the two together, push them through there, and that's okay. I think what I will do is I'll put like a feather board on here to keep the pressure down, so that this can't lift up. So I'll manage that in a minute. I'll set that up in a minute. But what I've done for now is I've chopped this out of the end, and this fits in there. Oh dear, can you see? I always worry about you guys seeing. Anyhow, it goes in there and it's still tidy here. So it's a little bit short, if I put it on the top there, you can see it's a little bit short, but I'd rather it short and the body where it meets here, I'd rather that be a bit tighter rather than tighter on there, because if it's tight, if that tongue is tight inside there, then it's more likely to get broken off. So I'd rather this shoulder be tight against this woodwork. Do you get me? Does that make sense? Anyhow, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set it all up. I'm going to do that end so that that end goes in there and behind there, and then I'll show you how I'm marking this from that piece of wood. So I'll put you in the stand and we'll get on with it. And I just really wanted to know how loose or tight it could be, and listen to this. I know there's a lot of wear gone on there, but you can see how much play is in it. I think I'm very similar to that, if a bit tighter. Okay, so just to make sure I've marked the end so I don't get it the wrong way around. You might as well come and have a look with me. So let's see what... Oh, good grief, look at that. That's spot on. That's absolutely spot on. I've spent a while setting this up. So yeah, that's spot on. Now I've got to mark this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the end of the timber there with a knife. And then I'm going to take it to the bench and I'm going to add on. This block is in there. I've scribed down there and I'm going to add on that. So there's that line, which is, as you can see, it's marked off there. Now I've squared it across, and now I need to just square it down here and then I can cut that off. Right, sorry about all the moving around, but it's not really the sort of setup that works. So now you can see I've chopped it to length. See that mark there? Look how spot on that is. Where the rebate is, this side down here, and that'll stop me making a silly mistake. And this will be the first piece, so this is really exciting. This is great. So that was the first one, I think, and then this is the second. But I'll be able to mark though the next ones off this one, so it'll just get easier and easier then. Right, here we go. So I've got the first two pieces in. Looking great, really pleased with it. They're awkward to get in because they're long and they just sort of go in like that. They don't want to go in nice and straight and equal both sides, do they? So I've got to get my hammer and just give them a gentle tap to make sure that they're going down. The next thing to do is run a rebate across here so that this bottom one tucks into the rebate at the bottom. So I'll just do that now. Right, first two panels are in, so that's great. Doesn't matter that they're not sitting perfectly here because they're going to have fabric on the back of here to make the join. This is pretty good. That's great into there. That's great into there. The thing to do now I've got these in, is just have a look at the joints and make sure I'm happy with them. It needs to be a bit crisper than that. So I'll get these right by running the plane over them a couple of times. I want them really crisp because I almost want them like that, both ends, so you can hardly see a joint. So then I will square this up to fit on there. Then I can cut this side down, do the rebates again and slot it in. Inevitably it will be too tall. Let's have a look now and see how much I've got to play with. There you go, sitting on there like that. I've got a good inch to play with, so there's plenty on it. So I'll have to take some off the bottom of this as well to even it all out. But it's looking pretty good. Don't forget, none of this is going to be blooming seen, but it's necessary. So right, I'll plane those two, get those fitting nice, and then I'll get round to that in a little bit. So we know this one fits and it's got its rebates either end, which is great. And this is the one that joins up to here. So I've just put 2 marks on that to show that that's where it's going, because it might be up here, it might be, I don't know where it is yet. I've got to sort the height out. But before I sort the height out, I really need to sort the width out, and I thought I'd show you how I sort the width out. What I do is I just drop the piece on there and have a good guess, and the good guess is about there. So I'm not working from the outside, I'm actually, because I know, remember these are different widths as well, slightly. I'm working from this line here, which you can see pretty good where the grain changes from that way to this. So I'm just going to drop that there, and I'm going to get the start at 0. It really doesn't matter what they're on, but anyhow, just get my calipers, hang it onto the end there, and wheel it down until it gets to the joint. Actually, I'll do this end first because it's easier to show you that end. So wheel it down until it gets to the joint, which is there. Then I bring it over this side, put it on the joint there, and that's how far out I am. So knowing it's that far out, it means that the distance between the end of here and the end of the calipers just needs to be halved. Half of it's coming closer, the other half is coming from the other end. So if I put that there, and then I come back to here, and I wind it up, and I go, that's it, and then I come to here, and I put that there. As you can see, back here where my finger is, it's exactly on the line. That now is a datum that I can use. So I'm going across the grain. I'm not going to mark this. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to mark down there. Because remember, this has been glued together around the square, and this is different and that's different and these are different, and I could have got it offset one way, and this might not be exactly square and all sorts. But now I've got 2 lines. I've got one there and one here. Now I can come up here and do the same again. That's it, I'm happy with that. So that can stay there now. And I haven't put it in the cross grain because I can't get to it. But I'm going to just sneak over the line there. So if I put that in the line, and then I just push the timber that way, keeping it in the line, I can then come over here and just do that. That's it. So now I've got this can come off, and don't forget this is the overall length. I've yet to do the rebate, so which will be this side as well. So I can put a straight edge down there now and down there, and get on with cutting the width down. And just remember, when you're cutting, don't go and cut onto your lovely sheet of Formica. Going to drop that in there, I'm just going to push it down the heel of that because I hadn't gone all the way there because I didn't want to scratch the full mic. Now we've got a lovely line that we can see, that we can work to. I'll do the same this side now. There you go. That's it. Now we've got the two sides marked up, which is great. Okay, so I've already planed this side down, and now I'm going to plane this one down to the line. I could cut that off. I'm going to cut that off on the saw. Let's get rid of that. There you go. Seconds rather than waiting, planing for ages. So if I put that in there, can you see what's going on? Yeah, you can. That's not bad. Let me just pull you out a bit. Can you see? There you go. Right, let's plane this down then. This plane's taking quite a bit off. Quite aggressive already, nearly down to the line already. Sometimes you want them set up so they get the job done quickly. I'm going to just take the blade in a little bit and always take it out the vise and have a look and see how you're doing. Millimetre, just less than a millimetre there, maybe a mil and a bit there, so not far away. Take a bit more off the mil and a bit first. Ooh, blade's gone in too much. There you go. Yep. Back in there. Another couple off this way. 2, 3, nearly down to the line. Can you see what it does? Can you see when you've got a nice sharp line, it the edge just starts falling away and breaking away on the end grain, and it's a good visual, you know, slow down, take your time from here. So that's what I'm doing. In a minute I will swap planes and use a finer, a sharper, no, not necessarily sharper, but a better plane. Very nearly there, look. Very nearly there. Still not here on that end. Another couple. When am I going to swap to that other plane? Now, I'll go and get it. So it's just breaking the surface there as well, not here just yet. Middle of the plane, right down the centre. As soon as that shine goes, it means that I've gone onto that surface. Come on, one more. One more. And I don't know whether you've seen that little 1 minute tip video I've done about putting the plane somewhere where it keeps it oiled, keeps it in a good condition, ready to go. A little tip from the Gandolfi video, and I can put the plane down knowing that it's sitting flat and it's sitting nicely and that it's getting a little bit of lubrication, and All right. Just down in one place there, just a little bit more. I'm going to go all the way. So yeah, by sitting it on there, there was a little hollow in there, only gentle, just for the plane to sit in. And how do I know it's there? I marked it on the back so that I knew where it was. So that sits there, and wipe it on there, and it puts a thin film of oil on. So this is nearly done. Let's get it back up here so you can see it. Can't see it now, can't see any evidence of the line. It's gone. There's something there, but I think that might be just a little bit trace of the oil. Right, ready to put this back in the camera. So I'm pleased with this. Sitting pretty good against there. You can see this. I've got to cut this down now. So I've got to work out what comes where, how much to leave over the top. I think I'm going to leave a couple of mil over the top. Actually, I need to try that back in. Let me try it back in and we'll come back. It's only because I'm thinking of this step here. So if I make it to come to the top of there, I've got to put another piece of wood over the top of all this. So yeah, it's got to finish flush with the top of that. So that's okay. It can be half a mil proud. That'd be great. Right, let's get that done. Okay, so this measures 355. And that's just under 355, but 355 is fine. So let's make a note of 355. And you know what I'm going to do? Double check. Okay, so we've got 355. This panel here measures 88 and that one's 92. So we're going to take the first 4 mil off that. So there's -4. And we're going to get down to 355. So I'll do the maths, I'll work this out so that I'm taking it off equally on here. Let's get that done. So to stop me making a fool of myself, I've just taken the 4 mil off the top here. So I've got 88 there now. So that measures 88, and from here to there measures 88. So these two are equal off the centre panel. I know I've got that thing going on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work out where this sits nicely. Actually, it sits pretty good there. So I'm pushing it against that side, and what I'm going to do is scribe 10 mil off here, or measure 10 mil from there, mark it, and then that will take me down to there, and then that should leave me approximately 10 mil up here excess, which I can take off as well, and then fit the rest. 10 mil comes to there. Let's push it back up against there, back up against that datum there, and 10 mil here comes to there. So what I'll do is I'll strike a line between those two, take that down and square that so that it sits against there and that side. And I've got a datum, I've got something to work from. So let me just turn that round. Grab a straight edge. Drop that on that point there. That's good. That's good. There you go, got a line through that. Let's chop that off. Back in a minute. Right, I want to explain what I've done. It varies slightly because my frame is fitted to that thing there, and because these tops are quite free and open and they can do whatever they want, I've made it fit in there and there. Inevitably, I mean, what's happening is these are locked because of this bottom piece, this rail here holding these together. No top rail means that they can flare out if they want. what I've got on here is only very slightly, I've got it wider here than down there. Now that's okay, because what it means is as it goes together, it's wedging in until it sits in the bottom. But what it does mean is that's not square and this isn't square. They're both out equally. So I'll show you what I've done. I'll sit that the right way around. I'll sit that on the V-bait over there. It's touching that V-bait and there's a gap here. So if I close this gap up and pull this that way, it's opening a gap there. So let me just do that, and that's the gap, and it's about 1 millimeter. So it's sitting nice here. So now if I do the opposite thing, the other side, and I put it on this rebate, which it's sitting on now, and I sit it nice and square here and touching the rebate here, there's a gap there of about 0.5 mil. So I'm going to now, so I can chop the top off, but I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to now sort out the rebates in this to start fitting it so that it slides in. Don't forget, these have, where are you going? These have yet to be sanded to the same thickness or planed down. So I've not done that yet, but plenty of time for that. So that feels a bit, that's high and that's a little bit lower. But I want to get this in the rebate so that I can see how it's all fitting. I've got that as square as I can to fit. This measures 82 and a bit, and this is 82 dead on. So there's only a fraction in it, but nothing that anybody will notice. It's got to do the job. That's all it's got to do. Look good and do the job. So this I'm happy with. I've got to sort of commit to some of these joints now. Don't forget, those are the fabric covered joints. They will bend on those pieces. I've checked that out, and when that's in here, it's enough to come across the top and allow the other piece to fold down here. So that's great. So yeah, rebate time, which is a bit scary. I'll just get them done and I'll be back in a sec. So I've done it. Sometimes you just don't want an audience while you're doing something like that. Ooh, wow. Okay. Wow. Well, I've got a bit of a thickness issue over here. Can you see that? There's a little bit of a step there. So I'll have to have a look at that. But this is good. This is good. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. So just remember, that's got to all be playing down. That will be against that. That will be that. Oh, okay. My tape's going to be on the back of that. So looks like that panel's going down very slightly. I can't take anything off the frames. That's it. So okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. The gap here is what I thought it would be. So these gaps here are great. Oh well, actually, you know, look on the positive. It's not bad at all. Okay, I can see what's going to happen. I'm going to end up. There's a little bit tight there. I'm going to end up taking a bit off here with the V-bait plate. What we can think about as well is, let me show you, is this is all going to be sanded down and finished with a couple of coats of shellac, so that will thicken up joints and things. Can you see? Oh, can you see that step over there? You can see that now. Yeah, I'll get rid of that. That's no problem. Okay, well that's all right. That's all right. So now I can cut the top off if I wanted to. Should we cut the top off, or do we need to readdress any of this? That's the thing I'd say. Don't go cutting that off just because you can. Look at all these. Do they need to be fine tuned? Is anything really bad? Is anything? And actually, no, it's all looking pretty good. It's all looking pretty good. I should just chop the top off. These, as I say, those will be flush with the back. This will be playing down. I'm trying to get my head around it, so that's okay. Chop the top off there. I'm quite pleased with that. What do you guys think? Well, I'll tell you what we could do. we could try it in the camera and see how it fits. That would be a nice thing to do, because that would be the first time it sort of goes together. Okay, that's good. Now you can see that bit that's proud. Tell you what, marking it from behind would be good. So if I just mark there, and in fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to mark all the way along and work to that, rather than get a straight edge on it, just in case the top of this has done anything strange. Oh, that looks great. That looks great. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've gone from not too sure to yeah, it's all right. It's coming together. Okay. Right, what's next? Chop that top off. Let's do it. Let's chop that top off. So as a woodworker, you're always thinking of plan B just in case something goes wrong. And what I had done is there's a little bit of play. I'll show you. Can you see how there's in the tongue part going in there, I could put a piece on there, and I thought about this. I've made it the same both sides, and I thought that if I have a problem with any of it not working right, and these are the offcuts, I did think, well, that's fine, because what I could do if there's a problem is I could glue that onto there like that, flush with the V-bait, and then see what my thumbnail is, and then just add on a little bit, which will take up the taper. So if I feel that it's too loose, I've got this as my backup plan, just to make sure everything's right. But the important thing now, the bit that really interests me, is because this is long and narrow, it doesn't want to slide down. But if it's followed by a big panel, it should, there you go, it does, it goes all the way down. So yeah, I'm quite chuffed, I'm quite pleased, this is good, this is good. Right, what do I do now? Probably go home, because it's been a long day. Right, I thought I'd better stop the video about there. Camera's going great. I'm getting towards the end of it. I did continue on for ages because I started a list, and I'll put that at the beginning of the next video. But I'll zip through it and try and do some sort of speed thing, because I go on a bit about the list of things to do. Once I get to a list, it means that I'm near the end of it. So I'm really pleased with this. I've actually moved a bit further forward than I'm showing you now. This video is a few days after the last clip. Anyhow, got to say, buy me a coffee, guys. I do appreciate the support. Thank you for the guys who've bought me a coffee. It's making a difference, it really is. It means that I've got a bit more flexibility, I don't have to worry so much, and I think this YouTube channel is the way to go. So I'm going to ask you, please share, like, comment, subscribe. It's making a difference, and this is the only way I can go now. I think the only thing to do is really get into this. Thank you, and I'm glad you got to the end of this video. That's great. You've been here for about 35 minutes, which is fantastic. So I'll catch you again soon. Really appreciate it. Camera's nearly done, so it's getting really good. See you again soon. Cheers.